Howdy, howdy, fellas. Got another World of Warships Legends match today. I need to clean out my storage space, so I'm just like running through some of these guys that I had in the backlog. We'll just zoom over here. There's my build. Who's that guy? Ravel. Yeah, there we go. And if they ever give a secondary cruiser commander to some of these like secondary cruisers they've been putting out, ooh, that'll be spicy. Some actual cruiser skills with Porcupine. Oh, here's Napoli. Cursed ship. I don't know, man. it's There's Michelangelo. Like, especially now that it's secondary, they play similarly. But I put this one in just for the lulz. First 13 games. This was before the secondary buff. But oh my god, 15%, man. Come on, game. Anyway, we're just sailing on over to the side here. This is a no DD match. I recognize some of the players in the division on the enemy team. Um, I've chatted the guy that's in the Stalingrad. I've chatted with him a fair amount, and you know, just there was one day that he and a division. I don't know that it was any of the same guys, but they just like wrecked the team that I was on. Yeah, several several matches in a row. Um, so, and then he was pretty cool about it, and then so we just chatted. I don't think we've ever actually ended up playing together. I always play at weird times, and just it really inevitably, whenever someone's like, "Hey man, you're gonna play," it's like right when I have to get off. I've got obligations to get to, and it is what it is. But one day, man, one day. Anyway, I'm going wide very intentionally on this map. You know, the Napoli troll stats notwithstanding, like those are not my best stats in a cruiser at legendary tier, but they're not bad. You know, particularly the attracted damage for a cruiser is quite good. The damage, 100,000 damage is not bad. It's not amazing at legendary tier, but it's not bad. But I have struggled to find the place in it. I put my Michelangelo stats up there, and I've put out a couple of videos before in the Michelangelo. And we'll do a bit of a comparison at the end of the video between the two, because I think, especially now with the secondary buff on the Napoli, like you can't help but compare the two ships. So yeah, so we're heading over here onto this side. I was hoping to get some flanking shots. I got one good salvo on the Wooster, or well, I got a salvo. It should have been good, but it was all over pins. And you can see the secondary is just going to work. The Napoli and Michelangelo both do have improved dispersion formulas. I don't know exactly what it is. It's PG Rapids, I know, has like the list. I think I saved it on my phone, and like, totally thanks to him, props to him. Like, that kind of stuff is not what I'm great at. Kind of keeping track of that kind of stuff. I wish I were better, but it is important. I really wish they would just have it in the game. Like, even if it was just like a, they don't need like the mathematical formula, but just something that tells you like, hey, this ship has improved dispersion, or this is kind of like 40. I think the German battle cruisers have, it's like 40% better than standard. Like, just let us know. So anyway, I go over to this side. I flank the Wooster. My Napoli has 9.9 concealment and 9.4 secondaries. So if I'm spotted, I'm almost in range of secondaries. Take a cheeky shot there. The guns on the Napoli are interesting. They're 240? Should have checked. I should have checked. They're not 203s. They're not 283s. I think they're 240 millimeters. They're super high velocity, and I feel like they're more accurate than normal. Maybe they just have standard cruiser dispersion on something that's kind of like almost more like a super cruiser, so they feel more accurate, but they get to where they're going quite fast. They have decent damage, great pin. They're like 6,000 with this build, so since it's Ravel, we don't have any. What's that? Piercer, I think, is the cruiser skill that gives you 10% more damage. But even then, they're not like amazing damage. But if they hit, yeah, you can definitely do some damage, and they will Citadel stuff. But they also have a tendency to overpin, like on the Wooster. So pluses and minuses. This is more or less going exactly as I'd hoped. I knew, and this is kind of the pros and cons of the Napoli. It can be limited, and again, the matchmaking trolling me notwithstanding, like, it doesn't have sonar, it doesn't have radar. The AG is like super anemic on the main guns. It's low damage. I don't remember off the top of my head what it is, but it's like 16% fire chance. You will. That can be a little bit misleading because you'll probably get more hits than you might on something with less accurate, slower shells. But it's still only 16% fire chance at legendary tier, and like that's just not enough to get it done. So you really need to lean on the AP, but it doesn't have improved pin angles. It still has a pretty slow reload. So it doesn't have the like burst to really just knock ships out. But it also doesn't necessarily have the, I think I was checking my smoke firing penalty there, I think it's 7.3. It doesn't necessarily have the like sustained damage in something that's angled. If you get into secondary range, you can. Again, we'll look at it at the end, but like one of the things about the Napoli secondaries is they have better reload and damage to an extent, but like you really need to get that sustained damage going, and if you don't get a chance to do that, it can be problematic. And they have slightly lower range than the Michelangelo, which I actually find problematic. You know, like there are definitely times where, kind of like this defense, so my Michelangelo is 10-2. He's just out of range. At 9-4, like, I can't get into threat range on him. With the Michelangelo at 10-2, maybe I can. One of the other things that I find kind of problematic between the two, and then I think, in my opinion, leans more towards the Michelangelo, is a lot like the Michelangelo has the unusual central main gun, you know, nose and stern secondaries. I actually find that more beneficial because how do I want to say this? Because the secondaries are what you need time to chew up the target. You want them in action more often, and so. Nice, 3 citadels on the Janai. Like the main guns are not, you know, don't sleep on the main guns, and you really do want to lean on the AP when you can. They really, if you get the opportunity again, but like you have to get the opportunity, you have to get these flanking shots. If you're stuck nose in versus something, like, oh yes, like they do work. And again, you know, I think it's not like I don't know what to do with this ship, or at least totally don't know what to do. Like I can obviously hit some of these shots. I'm looking for the shots that lead to it. So anyway, the main guns on the Michelangelo are burstier, and so you open up that kind of threat window on your flank to get, you know, get penetrated, get shot in, citadel, whatever, for less time in the Michelangelo. You can kind of keep the angle that you want, open it up, boop boop, shoot the main guns, and then close it back up. And they have a 20-second reload, so you take the shot on your belt armor and then you open back up. On the Napoli, like, you really want to keep that flank a little bit open to keep your secondaries going, and you can see a little bit here. We'll look at the gun arrangement later. You've got 3, I think 2, and then 3, and the kind of capping 3-barrel guns are your 152s, which are going to do most of your damage, especially up here at legendary tier. The middle ones, I think they're 90. Oh no, there's 3 middle turrets. I think they're 90 millimeter turrets. They will definitely damage superstructure and stuff like that. So you know they do damage, but it's the 152s that you are going to get most of your damage on, especially on heavier targets. You have to open up like kind of a fair amount of your broadside to get those on, and then like, because they have the whatever it is 3-second reload, like you want them to keep chewing and chewing and chewing, so you sometimes end up having to keep that angle open longer than you might want to.
Smoke generator started. The enemy team is taking the lead.
Kind of has the opposite thing, like you pop out to get the guns on. Again, the main guns have bad firing angles, but you can pop out, shoot, and then close it back up. I find that more favorable to how you want to be using the ship. The other problem, and kind of what I'm running into right here and did a little bit earlier, because of that shorter range, you've got the good concealment, but like, okay, cool, I'm in an engagement, I want to use my smoke. Napoli has like standard cruiser smoke. The Michelangelo has, I'm pretty sure it's exactly the same. If it's not exactly the same, it's mostly the same as the battleship smoke, where it lasts longer. Like you get to keep moving. I think it's 40 seconds smoke duration. And it is just so much more favorable to what you're trying to do. Like you can stay in that engagement and just charge ahead, keep the secondaries going while you stay safe. And I think that is better for what you want to do. You do overmatch some of these lighter cruisers. The Henri and the, yeah, nice, got it. The Henri and the Yeah, the Napoli, the one that I'm playing. Actually, overmatch. Like Minotaur, Brisbane. Pretty sure the Janan has the same kind of more lightly armored. Yeah, and so you can actually overmatch them. Here I'm doing that thing where I try to shoot at the back, the tail. Kind of missed. Went too far. And yeah, but my secondaries are chewing this guy up. But I'm also under attack by the carrier. Don't know that this is a win yet, but I am chewing them up. One more thing. I think the Michelangelo has better torpedoes. The Napoli, oh yeah, I was also trying to nose in. I expected some torpedoes from that Janan. Didn't know exactly when or how they would show up, but the more my nose is facing that way, the less likely I am to eat those. The torpedoes are better on the Michelangelo. They have a long reload, they don't have as much range, but these are, 4 per side, and they're super slow. They're more like the traditional Italian torpedoes, and they just don't have the damage to get that knockout punch. You really got to chew stuff up for quite a while before you can actually sink them with your torpedoes if you get in close. Napoli certainly has better armor than the Michelangelo. Michelangelo is no slouch. If you keep it angled appropriately, play it properly, like it's good. I'm so glad that guy had HE. I think if that had been AP, I might have been totally done. But yeah, so I talked a lot about the 2 ships, and you can just kind of see what I'm doing in this match. I'm trying to keep angled, I'm trying to dodge torpedoes, take the shots that I have. Oh, yes, on that midway, gotta love it. But I'm out of heals. I don't have secondary boost on this one. Michelangelo does. It's just like I think the Napoli still needs a little help. They could use a little more. The secondaries are certainly good. Oh, we take out the midway. Yes, 232k in the Napoli. I got a chance to do a lot of what the Napoli wants to do. Use the armor to tank, get the secondaries into action. But again, you can see it is hard to keep the secondaries in action because, especially if something's just running away from you, because you want to keep the angle, you don't necessarily get to chase straight after them. Napoli's fast, but it's not lightning speed. I think it's like 36 and some change knots. It's faster than the Michelangelo, but the Michelangelo has that benefit of being able to just go straight nose in, keep those, the nose turrets. It's like the 4x2 on the nose for the 152s, and they just keep firing and chunking whatever you're chasing. I don't normally watch the end of the match, but I was actually super curious how this went. My team never really captured the middle. Some of that was because of what I did. I went around the side. My team actually came with me. If they had stayed in the middle, they might have just got sunk, and normally giving up the middle or the caps on a map with an objective like this is not something I want to do. But because we knew there was a full division on the enemy team, I believe they had a destroyer. I can't remember actually what it was. Oh, no, it was triple, because it was the Montana, this defense, and then the Stalingrad. I'm like, they're going to go for the mid. The only way we're going to beat, especially like a defense nose in, I'm never going to beat a defense nose in the Napoli. I've ended up in that situation, and the defense just eats you alive. So I'm like, I've got to get on the side, and my team kind of pushed around with me. Maybe good, maybe not, whatever. But we never really capped the middle. They've had the middle the whole time, so at this point it's just like we have to sink them. So I'm glad we did enough damage. Our team really actually came through on this. The Janan that was over there got out these torpedoes, and I'm just watching. At this point I'm like, this is done. One guy's kind of backing up. He's not going to get there in time. The defense is just going to hide, and then I see these torpedoes coming in. I'm just like, oh, yeah, here I am. Like, oh no, I could kiss you. It's going to be a win. I cannot believe we pulled out the win on this. That was such an uphill battle. But yeah, it was, I've tried several times to get a good match of the Napoli, and I just haven't. I think I kind of know what I'm doing. I'm no expert, but I'm not playing it wildly incorrectly, and it's just been a struggle. Alright, this is try number 3. I went on way too long with the second take. Michelangelo, Napoli. I like them both. They're both fun. I've done better than the Michelangelo, but I think some of that's just matchmaking. I could do a little more damage in the Napoli. Some of these games were played before they buffed the secondaries, so anyway. Michelangelo, secondaries are easier to get on target. You can stay with the target because you can just stay forward facing and only open up a little bit to fire your main guns, and then back for 20 seconds, and then open, and then back. You've also got 8 or 4 of the big boys, and then generally 3 to 5 of the little boys. Napoli, shoot your main guns, but really you want that angle opened up to keep the secondaries on target, which can mean you know, if someone's just running away from you, you lose them. They get out of range, you have to go back nose in, and you don't necessarily get your secondaries. It looks like they should be able to fire like straight from the front, but they really don't. And at, you know, at most you've got 6 of the 152s on target. Generally get the same kind of 3 90mm. Napolis are slightly more damage, faster reload, so 2.3 2000, 5.2 3850, and we got 3 second and 6.9 second with slightly lower damage. So Napoli definitely can put out more damage, but the Michelangelo's going to have, or sorry, more damage per barrel, but the Michelangelo is going to have a much easier time, both in theory and in practice, getting more barrels on target. So I didn't do all the math of like any possible permutation, but Michelangelo is going to get more damage on target from the secondaries and has longer range. Michelangelo has a much better smoke. Take a look at minute 9 in the match. Michelangelo smoke, I would have done, I don't know, 20,000, 30,000 more damage in the extra 20 seconds of the smoke from the Michelangelo, but I had to stop because this was only 20-second duration. Last 35, but come on, give the Napoli Michelangelo smoke, or actually the battleship smoke is slightly better. 3 charges, 45 seconds. Give us that. Give Napoli enhanced secondary targeting, get rid of the plane. Yeah, give it better torps. You know, maybe we can get away with that, but these guys I really just am almost always unimpressed with. This is 13,000 damage at legendary tier with 56 knots. It's just not worth it. Yeah, these are nice. These are much nicer. You hit easier. There's only 3 of them, but like you're actually just gonna hit with them. What else? Anything else? Keep it short. I think that's good enough. Michelangelo's a little slower, better rudder, slightly larger turning circle. Both have decent armor. Napoli's tankier. Michelangelo has an exposed citadel, but it's got a little bit of space in between, so protect it from some stuff, like I mentioned in some of my Michelangelo videos. Close range battleships will yeet you. Napoli has better armor, icebreaker, but has a problem that's getting worse. Whoops, nope, that one. 30mm deck slopes, overmatched by a lot of the newer battleships at legendary tier. I learned that the hard way. I was like, oh, it's got a turtle back, I'm fine. Nope, overmatched, 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 overmatched. So yeah, and even the Citadel does stick up just a touch. So they, is the piece made, yeah. So it's got, you know, they're both tanky in their own way. Napoli's a little tankier, but neither of them are invincible. Neither of them are super squishy. So yeah, there we go. That was shorter. Thanks.